I just want to say what's up to everybody. Welcome to the show. Real excited about the show today. I tell you, boy, we had to bring it to basketball. We had to bring it to high school. Today is the 25th episode of Sunday Brunch. And let's take a look inside at basketball standout. I got here Robert Davis Jr. out of Farmington High School, class of 2022. And he's ranked in the top 10 in the state of Michigan. He's ESPN top 250 for his class of 2022, excuse me, and NBPA top 100, which is where I coached, and I know that you're the real deal when I see NBPA top 100. Here's some things I hear about you. You have a strong interest in UNC, the University of Denver, University of Detroit, Eastern Michigan, and Oakland University. And that's just what I've read. There's probably more that you've added. It's rumored out there that you have one of the best IQs, you're hella athletic, and you're a knockdown shooter. Additionally, you've been certified by my guy, NBA draft guru, Rashad Phillips. He's big on you, okay? Not only does he love basketball, but he also loves the drip. Having his own clothing line, you guys. He got his own clothing line named Speak Volumes with a Z. 16 years old, you got your own clothing line, okay? Then we get a bonus. We got his mom on, LaKita, all right? Former coach for men's basketball. Put it to the side. We ain't talking about women. We're talking about men's basketball at Eastern Michigan University. She got 15 years of coaching under her belt, okay? So she's giving it all to her son. In the end, we top it off with my nephew over there, Bugg Jr., who wears several hats, all right? He's an author. He's a publisher, a coach, former basketball player, business owner, and a fantastic dad. You guys, welcome to the show, Sunday Brunch, where we mainly love basketball, but we talk about other sports as well. Today we have an all-star cast of ballers, which makes for a great show. What's up, Rob? Give us a glimpse into where you are now, bruh.
Right now, I'm doing a lot, working out every day, every single day. We got games in Fall League. Right now, I'm also modeling. I have a modeling interview right after this for a modeling agency. But I'm just getting better every day. That's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get better mentally, physically, emotionally. It's just all the process.
Yeah, and that's a great answer. I'm telling you have a lot on your plate. I'm reading about you. I was watching your videos, and the biggest thing that has always been with me is staying in shape. And I look at your body, guy. You got a pro body already. You ripped up. You look like you already taken everything serious as far as your workout and your conditioning is concerned. And the biggest thing that I was impressed with is that you're playing with a mask on.
Yeah.
Yo, and I try to tell people, oh, I can't do it. I don't want to hear it. When you are in tip-top shape, you can do anything. There's synchronized swimmers out there. And if they can stay underwater for as long as they can and train, then so can we. And so I just want to commend you. Oh, my God. Hats off to you for that. Because when I saw that video footage, I was like, wait a minute. He's playing with a mask. I had to go back. I said, yo, that's what's up. You are promoting so many things that are just great. You are edifying the kingdom. I don't even have to know if you're spiritually sound because I can see it. You walk it, you talk it, you breathe it, and I appreciate it. How have you adjusted to online school?
I've adjusted really well in my eyes. With my school, we go to school an hour late, so we go to school at 9 o'clock. We don't have classes on Fridays, and basically they're really lenient with the work. So I've adjusted really well. I just do work on the one day that I need to do work, and then the rest of the days I can be able to work out, do whatever I got to do, model, all types of stuff.
Yeah, talk to me, tell us a little bit about how important that is, because if you didn't stay on track with your schoolwork, I'm sure that mommy, and she's sitting up there nodding. I'm sure that mommy be like, listen, okay, I know you guys are from Michigan, somewhere outside of Detroit, if not Detroit, so I know how she gets down. So talk to the young generation out there about how important it is for you to stay, on top of those books, because books determine your altitude in this game.
Yes, they do. Books have always been important to me, especially since a young age. I really had a love for school, like when I basically first started, especially second grade. I was reading at like a 12th grade level in second grade. Like I was really, really into it or whatever. So with school, I feel like I feel like it's the most important thing other than basketball because it can get you anywhere. If you can't pursue your dreams in basketball, you can pursue your dreams somewhere else if you go to school. And that's not even just talking about college. I'm talking about a high school education. You can get an education elsewhere. It really doesn't matter. Um, Being with my mom when she worked at Eastern Michigan, I've seen kids in college not be able to play because they didn't have the grades, or they not be able to practice, or them being ineligible. And I just never wanted that to happen to me. So I just made sure I was on my books, made sure I was on my studies, made sure I was doing my work so that she wouldn't be on my head because I'm scared of her, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. Uh, so just making sure I was basically on my stuff because I have a bigger dream to get to, and if that's me doing my work just to get there, I do it.
Absolutely. That is a great answer. I see your mom cheesing. I know she's smiling. You're very articulate. I love it. And that's due to your education. You can express yourself well because you're well educated. And, I just love to see the young fellas, the young brothers doing it and doing it the right way, and being a student athlete first. You are not an athlete student. You are a student first, and then you are an athlete. So I'm real proud of you. And I want to bring mom in. LaKita, I got to bring you in on that, to elaborate on that, because as a mother, there's a lot of mothers out there who are just multitasking with their kids right now. And prior to COVID, you guys were multitasking. I know that my mother did for me to make sure that I ended up where I needed to end up, ultimately, and go further than her. And that there were a lot of things that she did and a lot of adjustments that she had to make in her schedule for me. Now
Yeah.
with COVID-19 going on, God, man, talk about the adjustments in school, him being home all day.
To start, I'll say I'll never forget, March 15th, that's when we kind of got shut down here in Michigan. And for me, that first month was kind of everywhere. School really wasn't in. Everybody thought we were going back. So of course, no one really was planning on trying to get them back, I'm sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? Getting them back started on the school part. So they thought we would come back. So no one was really planning like, oh, we are not going to be back the whole year. So we need to have a curriculum. So for that month, I told Robert in the beginning, like, I don't care what happens with COVID, whether we go back or not. Our goal is 6 years away. It's 6 years of planning. And so the goal doesn't stop, or the plan to get to the goal doesn't stop. Therefore, whether we go back to school or not, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get up in the morning. You're going to go run. You're going to work out on these hills. I found a young lady who was doing ball handling online. He had that in his schedule every day. I found a court outside here, behind our home. And then some were actually by his school. As it kind of got warmed up, they ended up locking the rims so the kids wouldn't go and play. However, we kept one that was open. And even when we didn't have that, I was calling trainers to come outside, help him with his footwork. We don't need a ball to really do the work that we need to get better. And for us, I've always tried to challenge him in those manners. And then when it got to the point where I didn't know when school was going to start, I made him do a vision board. And, you know, I'm always good with helping my son, but one of the things I do in our journey is try to help other parents. So a lot of this stuff I was putting on Instagram, and you know, we did the vision board all live, and we talked about what it takes to put together a plan to say, I'm not going to just sit at home and do nothing just because everyone else has stopped the world. And so when people say they've gone through all these different things in terms of not being able to do anything, bored, can't work out, we never stopped. It never stops for us. I played basketball when I was a kid, and I did not have a rim, and I worked on my jumper in my yard without a rim every single day. So I know you can just make up a lot of things to work on this game. And as far as school goes, thankfully, he's been blessed to have foundation of what's important, because I always teach him that basketball isn't forever. You know, I know it, everybody on this call besides, you know, the young person, but it doesn't last. So what do you have that's next? And so we got him into modeling actually before COVID hit. And that kind of kept going too. They were Zooming and doing things, and I was like, you got to do this in the morning, you know. So it was just a transition that I think no one was prepared for. But one thing I love about us is that the things we can't control, we don't worry about those. We do what we can to control our own destiny, and that's how you have to be. So.
Yeah, I mean, wow, fantastic. You had me. Definitely, you know, the foundation is so important. You know, a foundation of education is so important, especially to our young men, and also our young women as well. I speak to them most of the time. But you know, when I have a young fella around me, I coach varsity boys in Newark, and you know, I'm sure that they're gonna, you know, a couple of kids are watching this show. But I don't even think that they realize and understand who they have around them in me, and
Exactly.
the opportunities and the doors that I can open up for them. And so, you know, to be sitting here with a young man who played in, you know, for the Players Association, in the top 100, I mean, that is just monumental. And I know the caliber of kids that are there. They promote education. They have the parent programs that they have there for you so that you can ask useful questions. I can, you know, you touched upon virtual training, and Vid, I'm going to prompt you in a second. You touched upon virtual training, and we talked about that yesterday, how beneficial it was for him and how he didn't even really notice how beneficial it was. And back in July, I put that up on my Facebook and got zero response for virtual training. People not realizing that their kids could stand out in front of the house. They could stand in the backyard with the basketball and do virtual training, because it's really, really important. It's an important part of your game. And it's not so much the things that you do with other people, it's what you do with yourself. And the time that you spend on your ball handling, just standing there shadowing, just doing a figure eight, doing around the back, around the head, all of those different drills that you can get virtual training. LaKita, elaborate a little bit more on the virtual training and how important she was to him.
So like I told yesterday, we talked. So her name is Train with Coralie, and she's on Instagram, and she just actually started back up for the fall because it's cold outside. But again, we live in an apartment complex, and he would do it in the apartment when I didn't think it was too loud. If it was cold outside, we did it in the drive, you know, in the parking area. If we had to go to the park, she was very, very good for Robert. And I don't know, and maybe he can tell you after this, but
Absolutely.
once he started back in the gym, all of those hours of constantly dribbling that ball, his game went from just being a knockdown shooter, as people kind of put him in this realm of being a knockdown shooter, to, you know, bop, 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 bop. Now he's getting to the basket and ones. The ball handling is coming into play. And that came from those days when he didn't want to go out there. It was 12 o'clock, we got to go. I don't care. And he was, you know, sometimes he liked it, sometimes he didn't. But for his game alone, even the coaches were like, dang, he got like a little wiggle with him now. A lot of that came from Train with Coralie and her online basketball drills. And she added core in it, you know, a little exercise in it. I think she's one of the dopest young girls out here, or young women out here doing it. And it just translated to his game. And I mean, you can ask him how he feels that it worked out for him. But we're going to go back to that now, because it's very key for him to get that in order to elevate his game. My thing is every summer you should add something. Every summer, elevate, get better. And he did that in COVID.
Hey. Look at that right there. What'd that say? What'd that say? What?
Hey.
Elevate your game. Bottom line. That's what I've been rocking for 7 years. That's me. That's my brand.
I need that.
Bottom line.
That's dope.
I need that. I need that.
Got to elevate your game, baby. You on the right track. Now, talk to us a little bit about the online, the virtual training. This is something that I've been talking to people about for a while. So, I have people on the show now. Maybe they'll probably take it into consideration because you're a high school standout. You're one of the top in the country right now, and you are utilizing virtual training, ball handling. Talk about how it's improved your game.
It has improved my game immensely. I'm not even gonna lie to you. My first couple times in the gym, I was just trying new stuff, dribbling, all types of stuff. I was just getting by guys easy, used to moves easy. And it's like people try to put me in this booth as just a knockdown shooter. Oh, he can shoot, make him drive, And it really it kind of got to me sometimes because my coaches would kind of listen to that, and when I would drive something like that, and I try to score or something like that, they tell me drive and kick, what I'm saying, drive and kick, and since me adding those moves and certain movements to my game and being stronger and getting stronger, I've been able to just create around the basket, whether it's me driving, drawing to and kicking, or me driving and laying the ball up or doing a step back or something. It just really helped my game because I can just do more, And with the virtual training, if it wasn't for the virtual training, I probably wouldn't be as good as I am now. And I'm not even good yet. I'm really trying to be better than what I am. So with the ball, I say if you have the opportunity, I feel like you should do it because it is honestly one of the best things that happened to me during this whole COVID situation. And it was an opportunity presented by God, and I just took it.
When you mention him, boy, all things shall be added unto you. So with that being said, you are listening to Sunday Brunch. Got my man Robert Davis Jr. He already sound famous. Robert Davis Jr. Okay, over here with his mom LaKita Gantz, Bid Lamont Jr. We here just talking about everything, chopping it up. I love it. I just love your way. I just send you all of the blessing in the world, young fella. Vid, elaborate on some of the things that we've been talking about right now. You got a daughter. You got the basketball going on down there. He's in a totally different area. He's down there, the southern tip of the United States, down there in Florida, where COVID was off the chain. They were really affected by it, and training had to change. Talk about and elaborate on some of the things that you've experienced and what you know.
Well, first I want to commend Mom and Robert. Just the hard work, the advice you're giving Mom, and putting your son in the right position first and foremost, and also your time management. That's something that I like to tell everybody. You cannot succeed if you don't time management. So going off of what Adrian is, her question, things I saw, sorry, Siri's popping up, sorry. But the things I saw down here, we had to change our training a lot. We couldn't have as many people in the gym. Just the different procedures, getting checked, wearing masks where, some people don't want to wear because, they think that it's going to hinder their fitness, harder to breathe, et cetera, et cetera. But, honestly, down in Florida, it hasn't been too many adjustments, other than, as LaKita said, that when the gyms was closed, we went outside, but then they shut down the parks. So for me and the young man or the guy that I train with, Teddy DuPay, we're old school. We told him to go back to the old school mentality. Get your ball, dribble down the street. Find a, you don't need a goal, a hoop. You know what I mean? I didn't have a hoop growing up. Just work on your form. You know what I mean? Run. Those certain things. And so the kids that actually did it, jump rope for 3 minutes, they come back in the gym as Robert did, and they improved tremendously, whereas everyone else went down. So that's the only change down here that I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody has been called to, readjust their game, and that's even off the court as well. We're all making adjustments. We're all redefining our lives. Life is never going to be the same again. The kids are actually learning how to go to school online way before they have to. Usually that's a choice after high school. Now it's not. This is the way that it is. So it's actually, if you look at it in a positive sense, positive light, you're actually learning how to navigate through the portal, which is difficult in college. So if you learn how to do that now, you're picking up on a skill that you probably you wouldn't even be planning for, Robert, for 2 years, but now you're in the thick of it and you know how to get it. So I'm glad that you're doing well in that department. And LaKita, we talked about this too. There's so many different protocols out here. We need a universal protocol for how to do this. There's a blueprint out there. The NBA basically showed you how to do it. The WNBA showed you how to do it. But if you don't have that kind of money, then you have to figure out a way to mimic the bubble. And that means you have to be responsible. There's going to be so many different things that are going to be required before you can actually step your foot into a game to entertain a game, or to even play in a game, or to practice that day. So it's the temperature taking, it's the, people being responsible outside of the basketball court to stay away from individuals, and, for myself, I keep myself away from a lot of people. Yesterday probably was the first time that I was around more than 10 people, and it made me feel uncomfortable because some people have good math skills, and then you have those people who have their noses out. And you guys are the most dangerous people I've ever met in my life. And let's not talk about the chin guard people. Okay? The one around the beard. Like, people are taking this mask to a whole nother level. They look crazy out here. But bottom line is, not everybody has the same mannerisms that you have. So once you leave the basketball court, you have to be responsible with who you're around, who you allow to be around you, because everybody is around somebody who's around somebody who's around somebody, and somebody ain't washing their hands. Somebody is coughing and not holding their putting their hand over their mouth. There's so many different things. The protocol is so different across the high school level. There's different protocol for all different places. Just like I was watching Robert, he had on a mask in this one tournament. Now you go to the next tournament, it's not like that. So, and then how are they taking the temperatures? What are they doing for the people that they're allowing in the gym? And so everybody's got a different protocol. Elaborate on that, LaKita. Let us know what's happening up there in the Michigan area. How are they playing basketball? What are the protocols?
So as of right now, we are, any sport or every sport is required to wear a mask, or like football, they have an opportunity to wear the clear face guards or whatever. But you have to have something on in order to play. If you don't, you can't play. A lot of times with the basketball, I've seen lately refs are actually kind of stopping the games or at least yelling to players to pull their mask up if they're down. We went back into phase 4 as a state because our numbers have gone up a little bit in Michigan. And so our biggest thing right now is if the numbers keep going up, just like anywhere else, then you don't get to do most of the stuff. So I'm hoping that we have a season. But if we do, crowds are limited. 20, I think it's 20 to 25% only capacity. I've noticed that some of our tournaments have been, they thought that they were only going to allow 4 teams. So that meant you only have 2 games when normally some of our tournaments have 6 games. But now you can have your 6 games, but you have to have time in there where you empty the gym. So each game, everyone has to leave. The next game, everyone comes in after a cleaning, and you go on and on throughout the day. And then some of the places, this one particular tournament, the Horatio Williams Tip-Off Classic, they're doing live streaming. So now you don't even have to come to the game. You can actually see all these great matchups with all these top 10 teams in the state, and you can watch it from home, and you don't have to come to the game. And most games, the really good ones, you won't be able to get in anyway, because if a facility holds 2,000 people, you're only going to be able to have 400 people anyway. And that's normally a 1,500, 2,000. Well, hold on, it holds 2,000. So normally you get about roughly 5,000 people, 5,000 to 7,000 that rotate during these tournaments from the different teams playing. So now you go from 5,000, 7,000 to 400, a game. That's kind of tough. So, but he is live streaming it. So he's found a way to, try to fit the people's needs and fit what they're asking us to do in Michigan. So that's a good part. I had a kid actually, he hit me up today and he asked me about giving him some advice about him playing on a team with his high school and then AAU. Now he's on neither one. He's not on his high school team and he's not on his AAU team. And my advice, my first thing I told this kid is, first of all, number one, you need to get back on your high school team because you don't even know if we're going to have a season. So if we don't have a season, now you're not a part of it and you can't transfer because what if we don't have a season? What if a kid says, I want to go to a new school and transfer and then we don't have a season? You would feel like crap, and then the other piece is the NCAA. They've given the 21s their year back. So now the high school 21s are in a shambles because if a kid stays at a school you were planning to go to, they better have a scholarship for you now. So there's so many things going on that just add to everything. And it's unfortunate, but it's like, what can you control? What can I control? And that's kind of what I always get back to with all these young people out here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a lot. It's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to absorb as an adult. And we also talked about this is that, we have so much on our plate that we forget about the anxiety and the depression that our kids are feeling. Robert, with all of this that's going on, you're not going to school. The season is over. Thank God you're not graduating until 2022. This will definitely be resolved way before that. How does all this make you feel? Like what things are you concerned about that you think that we need to know as adults coming from you guys right now? What do we need to be focusing on? And I'm taking basketball out of the equation.
It's just, from my standpoint, it's weird. Like, say, like me, you have a very socially found kid who's used to talking to everybody, being with everybody, like for party, all of this, and then you just shut everything down. You can't your friends, you can't go places sometimes. Like it can sometimes get to you, especially like kids that don't have a support system around them like I do. So like boredom is a major thing when it comes to kids my age, of course, because that's all they do is post. I'm bored. has to deal with all types of stuff like that. And when you get bored, sometimes you just do whatever you can think of, you know. And then sometimes you just get into deep thoughts, or you could get emotionally drowned because you're not feeling anything, because you're not doing anything or going anywhere. So it's just always a challenge sometimes. But that's why I love my mother, because she has kept me doing things this entire Corona situation. I have just been sitting in the house and just laying there, not doing anything. Every day I have done something productive, whether it's in basketball or it's in life. And she has actually got me. I have a counselor that I talk to every week, well, almost every week. And we just talk, and it's honestly been very good for me, because every kid, every person has anxiety towards something. Um, you could be anxious to do something. You could be anxious because something is not happening, or you could be anxious because there's something you can't control. Um, and I've learned a lot by going to this counselor, and I'm trying to not only help myself but help my peers that are around me, to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because if we're all thriving and doing great, the world is going to be better regardless, no matter what you're doing or how you're doing it.
Wow, that's great advice. That's a great answer. Now, what I would like you to do is I want you to try to get somewhere where you got a little better reception, because I'm losing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm losing you. And we can't do that because you're giving these young people out here some great advice. I want you to continue with that. I definitely want you to continue with that. And so, on to the next thing. We talked about so many things, from wearing masks to um, just being conscious and aware of what it is that you do as a basketball player. Um, what is it that we can expect from you, Robert, from this season, if it goes on? Okay, and the way you guys are wearing masks up there, I don't even think that it's going to be a problem. Um, uh, you guys up there in Michigan, y'all some ballers up there. I know we got some ballers in New Jersey, but I can tell you this, y'all be hooping up there in Michigan. Y'all on something else.
Yeah. This season, in terms of whether it's happening or not, I want to win. I'm a big thing on winning. Like, I have always won. Like, winning is just in my blood. Like, I don't ever want to lose. Losing is the worst feeling ever, literally ever. So when I say, when you ask me what you should expect from me, you should expect me to win. You shouldn't expect 35 points. You shouldn't expect 30 points. You shouldn't expect that. You should expect me to do whatever I got to do to win. And if that's getting 10 plus rebounds, 10 plus assists, like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win no matter what. So whatever I have to do, and that's basically what you have to say. But also, it's going to kind of be weird because I usually play to the crowd. So, like, us not having a crowd is really going to be, like, kind of weird, because, like, they lift the game energy up. And, like, I'm an energy guy. Like, if you catch me in any game, any situation, I'm gonna be the loudest one on the court. I'm gonna be the highest one on the court at all times. You know, um, whether it's me making play or somebody else making play, I'm gonna always be the loudest guy on the court, happy for my teammates, just trying to win, get their morale up. And without, our student section, they are really crazy. They are crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. And without them, I don't even know what's gonna happen. I just gotta bring some energy from out of nowhere. Just try to get our whole team going, because the fans really do play a part in basketball, whether people think it does, or they think it doesn't. But with it being an empty gym, I don't think it'll be a problem. I've played in an empty gym my whole life, so it wouldn't be a problem.
All right, cool. So, Mr. Excitement and Mr. Winner over there, I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on you, because you got some great things. What I want you to do is I want you to go in the room with mommy and you just be behind her and you on your own phone and,
I'm gonna go to him. I'm gonna go to him because I
because
think
it's where he is where the reception isn't picking up so well. So he
I think
probably
it's just here. Just come over here. Turn it off. Sorry.
it's okay. Or he could just disconnect and then y'all sit together however
Yeah,
you do.
that's what I'm gonna do. What we normally do because I think it may be his laptop.
Yeah, it could be that because everybody is, with the frequency and it's all good, because he's just, he's got some great answers and, kids really need to know, um, how to make it. We can't always give them the blueprint. And at that age, when they're 16 years old, they're looking to their peers for more of the advice as well, So as we're sitting here talking, Robert, talk to me about this 13,000 question mark you got with your shirt. Talk to us about your clothing line, because mom said that you always got to stay in the drip. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me about Speak Volumes with a Z.
Okay. It all started like literally a year ago, around this time. I was going through some situations at my last school, and I ended up transferring out. And it was a lot of stuff going on in the school, whether you say injustice or racial things, and all types of stuff that was going on. So one day out of nowhere, I was like, let's put $13,000 on a shirt. Um, and what it means is $13,000 is how much it costs to go to the school, right?
Per year.
And then the back of the shirt says, just because you prepare me for college does not mean you have the right to break my spirit for the world. And honestly, it didn't just go for me. It goes for almost every kid in that school. Because honestly, you go through so many things emotionally that you just don't know what's going on. So I put that on the shirt, and then I tied it into everything else. It's not just about the school, not a little diss on the school or whatever, but whatever you put into something should be what you should be getting out. Say it's money, your time, your effort, whatever you put in, you should be getting the same energy out. And that's just all of it, because if you're not if you're not getting out what you put in, it's honestly just a waste of your time, your money, your everything. And it's honestly a disservice to you and your family or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. I mean, I was like, the homeboy got his own clothing line. Okay. He's the top 250 ESPN in his class, top 100 NBPA. You know, you're so on the right track and you're only 16 years old. Have to accredit that to your mom.
Thank you.
Bottom line is, and, I was raised by a strong black mother, and so there were certain things that just wasn't going to fly in my house. Uh, you know, and we coming home after school, we ain't going to my house. My mother's there. Okay. Um, your behind better be on the stoop when the lights go down. I don't care what everybody else is doing. You're not doing it.
Yeah.
And so it was those little things that aggravated me to the bone, young fella. But if I had not have listened, then you know what the business is. And I'm just like you. I was scared of my mother. Call a cop. Call a call SWAT if you want to. Don't call Shuggy. Don't call Shuggy. And it was because she just, you know, she had that ride, man. And the people before her had that ride. And so it's just the way that it is. And, there's something to be said for that. And, I'm in agreement with, a mother and a father who chastises their children. You have to, especially in this day and in this world. It really does define us, and it makes us who we are. We are a representation of our mother, our father, our sister, our brother, our grandparents. When we go out there, the biggest thing that I wanted to do was make my family name proud. Goodson, I wanted that to mean something. That I wanted that to be my legacy. So through basketball, that's what I could do. I could travel the world. I could, earn a living, and most of all, wake up and do what I love to do. How many people get up in the morning and are going to do what they love to do every single day? That's a very, very small percentage. So if you have the opportunity to utilize your skills the way that you utilize your skills to get to the next level, and to have that success so that you and generations of your children and your children's children can eat, then I'm blessing it all of the way. So what advice can you give to your peers right now?
Let's see. Be yourself. That's number one, because it can tie into everything. Being yourself and not trying to, not necessarily be other people, but trying to do what others are doing and trying to impress people is one thing I can say. Because if it is one thing that my mother and father have taught me, is to do your own thing and be yourself and not follow the trend, because the trend can get you a couple different places, and the trend could get you dead, in jail, or broke. So instead of following the trend, be different. Just make being different the trend, because your difference is more important than anybody else doing something that's following somebody. Like, perfect example, the way I dress is different than everybody. I wear my jeans don't touch nowhere near my ankles. My clothes fit to my body. Nothing's really like baggy or whatever. A lot of people hate on it. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people hate on it, but I don't really care what other people think about me. So me being different, it honestly has tied into basketball. It's tied into life, clothing, and it's really got me everywhere I've gotten to. Because if I wasn't different, I wouldn't have college coaches calling my phone. I wouldn't have model agencies trying to have interviews with me. I wouldn't be on an interview with you right now. I honestly would not be ranked anywhere at all when it comes to basketball. And I wouldn't be getting the acknowledgement that I'm getting from everywhere. So just be yourself and be different and express your emotions. Because if you're feeling something, you should let it out instead of balling it up and keeping it in. Because it is not, I've seen and went through a lot of people just holding their emotions in, and it has went completely wrong for them. And I just want everyone to make sure that if you're feeling something, let it out, because it'll honestly help you in the long run.
And I just want to add to what he just said. By him being that way, it helps me be a better mother. I take from what he says and what he feels, and even if it's in the heat of the moment and we may be going back and forth, I go back and I reflect, and when he's right, I change my tune. And I do that because I had a father who didn't let me speak, right? So people be like, y'all have this crazy relationship. He says the craziest things to you. But one thing about being a teacher, I've always said, I'm teaching my students, but if I don't know what they expect from me, how can I be the best teacher? And so I use that with him telling me and expressing himself. And yeah, it may sound like you talking to me crazy, but I use it to be a better parent. And so that our relationship can be the push-pull, but still loving. So I appreciate him for always being honest with me, because he make me check myself too.
Wow, absolutely. And that's just great. You guys tag team off of each other. Young man Robert Davis Jr. Keep saying that name. It's famous. Please believe it. Gonna lead to things. Sitting right next to, on the camera, you're sitting right next to my man who actually is a publisher. So if you're trying to go in that way, he's the man to talk to. as far as that's concerned. I mean, you have a daughter. You sent me pictures of her. She's getting so big, oh, little Sophia. She's so cute. And, you know, just, you having a set of strong parents up there in Virginia, you're down in Florida now. How important is it for you to mimic what your parents did for you?
It's everything. I'm sitting here listening to Robert, and I'm like, wow, he's only 16, but it's everything. At times, I remember growing up, for me, my dad is, if not the wisest man I know, one of the wisest. And he set the example, don't be scared of anybody, be different, as Robert's saying. A lot of times I didn't like what he said, but here I am years later. I'm doing and teaching my kids the same things he's taught me because, he didn't have his dad around, and he put 3 kids through college, put himself through college, with my mom's help. He was the first person in where I'm from to be successful, and he had to be different. I mean, he was different. We got laughed at because he drove old cars, but he explained to me later. He's like, yeah, I could buy this, that. I could buy this, that, and sorry. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I could buy this, that, bigger house, but that means, right, I got to work more. I spend less time with you all, and I may be in debt. And my dad retired at 52 years old. Again, like I said, put 3 kids through college. My mom and my dad had my older sister when they were in high school. So when you ask me about his examples or my parents' examples, I won't just credit my dad because my mom was strong. She held down the house, is strong. Looking at them and what they went through, I know I could do anything, and that's why I wear all these hats. As Robert said, well, I'll add on to what you said, Young King. Be different and don't ever let anybody put limits on you, And as Black men and women, they want to put labels on us. If you're an athlete, they want us to shut up and just ball, It's so much more, everyone, is so much more to us. And so you can do it all. And that's why I always bring up time management, right? If you have a vision, it's possible. And my dad always told me since I was 4 and 5, and I tell my daughter Sophia this, have a plan, right? And chip away at that plan every day. Some days you're going to fall short, but if you continuously go on, you're going to succeed more times than not. You're going to accomplish more goals. And, so those are the valuable lessons that my parents set forth for me and my sisters that I give to my son and my daughter and the kids I coach and, our authors. And I want to give a shout out, sorry, Goody, but Goody is actually published through us as well. So check out her book, Elevate Your Game. But yeah, so those I call them gems is what I pass down to anybody and everybody I come in contact with, whether it's by words or speaking, a lot of times through your action. And so everybody on this panel, it's not just what we're saying here. I know y'all walking the walk, and aspiring others that you don't even know see you. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's the bottom line. And you're listening to Sunday Brunch at WNBA State of Mind. I got my boy Robert Davis Jr. on here, LaKita Gantz, Vid Lamont. You guys, closing out the show, okay? I want to give all of you guys the opportunity. Vid, starting with you because we just finished with you. Tell everybody where they can get in touch with you. How can they get in touch with you? Do you have anything new? Social media, books. What's going on with you, bro?
All right. So give me 30 seconds. So,
You take longer than that.
I won't take that long, but like Robert, we're coming out with a new line, clothing line. If you know me, my message is warrior mindset, living a warrior lifestyle. So that's the next clothing line. We're gonna drop soon in a matter of weeks. 3 new books coming in 2021. You could reach out. The new website will be up, I think, next week, but you can check me out at vidbugs.com, social media, Vid Lamonte on IG, Vid Lamonte Buggs Jr. on Facebook, Twitter, I think it's Vid Lamonte on Twitter. I'm everywhere. So just I hate to be like T.O. and be, not like T.O.'s arrogant, but anyway, I don't want to be arrogant, but just Google me and you'll find me. So I'm everywhere.
Absolutely. There you have it, my man Vid. My man Vid Buggs Lamonte. We got 2 juniors on the show. I always end up with 2 juniors. I don't know how I end up with that, but you guys, how can people get in touch with you on social media? Any new things for you in the works?
Well, very not me.
Okay, so our clothing line is speakvolumes.com. If anyone wanted to kind of go and see the different designs, we had 9 designs and we are adding 3 more to the fall collection. One in particular I'll tell you about. It says unguardable, and the quote for it says, I want to what?
I want to win, not score. That's the difference.
And that's his next, big thing for this fall. So the company is what we're really working on, because it speaks volumes. We have, from unarmed, Black mothers matter, Black dads matter. We have so many different things that people talk about that speaks volumes. And just like your shirt, it speaks volumes at the end of the day. When someone sees that, they start to thinking and they have these, this thought process. So that's our main goal. And then to get out of this semester with all A's and B's, because I'm real big on making sure he understands the NCAA window for eligibility. And at his last school, he had to take Spanish for the same foreign language for 3 years. When he got to his new school, that wasn't the case. So he's still in Spanish 3. Now, technically, he doesn't need that for NCAA, but I'm trying to make sure he understands that his 3rd year, he only needs 2 years. But I'm trying to make him say, no matter what, you got to keep an A or B in it because it will help you take away other lower grades and fall in that, get in there so that it ups your GPA. And places like Princeton and Denver, which are, interested in him, those are academic schools. So in order to go to these schools, you need this GPA. And even though they're trying to, get rid of the test scores and all that, you still need your test scores to get into the school. Maybe not to play basketball, but to get into the school. So those are things that I'm trying to make him, make sure he's worried about. It's really for us just school, the business and training, and making sure we don't lose sight of the 6-year plan. This is a 6-year plan at the end of the day. If it comes, we get something better and bigger and it happens faster, then that's a blessing. But our plan is 6 years right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good plan 6 years out. I mean, how old is he going to be then? 22? Oh my God.
Right,
You know what I'm
exactly, you
saying?
know?
Still in a good place, young fella.
Exactly.
Okay, so how can people follow you on
So,
Instagram, on Twitter? Like,
yeah.
Robert, like, like,
Okay, so
what's
I'm
your,
on Instagram, LaKita, TheCoach Gantz. I am also a student athlete and parent consultant for any parents or student athletes who want to get some help with their journey. So LaKita the Coach Gantz on IG, LaKita the Coach Gantz on Facebook, and Kita the Coach on Twitter. So
For
Robert?
me, on Instagram, you can follow me at R0BE4T. So basically, it's Robert with a 0 and a 4. On Twitter, you can follow me at Robert Davis Jr., but the I in Davis is a 1. Um, but also to piggyback off of her with the clothing line stuff, after I haven't even told her this yet, but after our little fall collection, after we go through that, I want to get into uh basically emotional connections with shirts. Basically, with I've had many friends pass because of their emotional, it just wasn't there. Like, so I just want to make sure that we're connecting to people more than just basketball and everything that we're doing right now.
yeah,
Because your emotional health is the most important thing that you have. Without your emotional health, you can't even have physical health because you're not there mentally. So just make sure that we incorporate that in our business and make sure that we help other people. That's basically what I'm focusing on right now, besides basketball and modeling and everything else that I'm doing.
and if you heard him earlier, he said that he actually goes to a counselor, and that was purposely done. Some, families think that that's like, oh, if you go see a therapist, you're crazy. No, I am proud to say that I allow him, or I've given him the opportunity to go and speak to other people to express what he needs to express and learn things that I don't have the professionalism to teach him. Especially handling all of the things that they have to handle. It's so much. I know as older people, we look like, why y'all tripping? But what they go through, this generation, is so different from what we experienced because they don't have what we had. And so it's harder for them. And although we look at it like that's nothing, it's nothing to us, but that's not the same for them. And to acknowledge that and help them with that is important. And unfortunately, he's had friends commit suicide. And that is unfortunately a unpopular but popular trend for African American males right now. And those are some things that I think he's talking about and wanting to touch on to make sure he's able to help his friends who may be in those, his other friends now who may be in those situations and thinking like that.
And you're listening to Sunday Brunch at WNBA State of Mind. We're going to finish up with that thought from Coach LaKita Gantz. Got Robert Davis Jr. on here, Vid Lamont. And if you listen to Anchor FM, download it. I got a couple for you that I want you to download and subscribe to. The list has gotten so much bigger, I got to look at my phone to even see it. Audio, radio, download it. Pocket Cast, download it. Overcast, download it. Google Podcast, download it. Podcast on Apple, download it. NetsWire, download it. Podle, download it. Subscribe. Podcast app. Himalaya, Castbox. Y'all ready for this? Castaway, Radio Net, Listen app, Radio Public, RSS Radio, Pod Hero, Owltail, Intel, Primecast, Podorama, Highcast, Procast, Castro, Bullhorn, Podcast 9, Playapod. They even got Playapod for the players in the Himalayas. Podcast, Tapcast, Podster, Podalong, and Podcastly.
Nice.
Download it. A WNBA State of Mind. I love y'all already. Sammy Sosa.
We love you too.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Stay up, baby boy. It's your world now.
Man.